I'm back. Well, here we are in episode 10 of the Warmoth build your stratocaster type of thing. It's a big long series, if you will. I mean, the fact that we're on 10 says a lot. And I just completed the finishing of the neck and the body, and it's time to move on to better things. Oh, that's been hard work, but thankfully we're now past it. No, not me, I'm past it. But no, we're past all that kerfuffle, or malarkey. That's a great word if you're Irish. In any case, let's cut all the rubbish, and yeah, there's the body. Look at the gloss on that. Oh, you can see it shine. Yeah. Here we are anyway, ready to fit the tremolo. And I'm just going to fit it loosely for now and just put the screws in the back and that sort of basic stuff. And then we're going to go and do the tuners in the neck, and then we're going to fit the neck to the guitar, and that'll be the end of this section, if you will. So without further ado, as they always say, let's get down to it. I'm going to get the camera in a bit closer so we can see what's going on. And I'll just get on with it, I guess. It's not rocket science. You don't know how to fit one. Well, it could be rocket science then, couldn't it? Let's fit one together. Well, that's what you get with the Babicz kit, or Babicz, or call it what you want. I'll call it Babicz, it's easier for me. Yeah, all the bits. So let's get down and look a bit closer at what we get. And one of the first things I want to look at are these things here, because we've had a few discussions online with different guys about these. These in particular. Yeah, there they are. Now then, when I was having trouble in fitting the ABM bridge, which I ended up sending back, still waiting for the credit on that, weeks down the road, and also when I fitted the Babicz, I had to take about up to 1/8 of an inch off the back of the body in the hole for the tremolo, so that it would actually fit in and work perfectly. Now some people have said, yeah, it all relates to these things. Right, well, the ones on the right, the Babicz ones, or Babicz ones, and the ones on the left are actually Fender ones. And I think you'll find, let's see if I can get any closer, I think you'll find there's not a lot in it. Some people said, yeah, what it is, these slots are deeper, or they're more shallow than the Fender ones. It stops the bridge from going in. Well, I did check that on the ABM bridge, and I also checked it on this. And as you can very clearly see, there's not a lot in it. In fact, there's such a small amount in it. It's so negligible. I don't think that accounts for 1/8 of an inch on this bridge as to why it wouldn't fit in the body. I just wanted to show you this because it's a very interesting little subject of why maybe some tremolo units do fit and some tremolo units definitely don't fit the standard designed, remember it's a Fender licensed body from Warmoth, so I know the body is exactly right. It has to be down to the bridge, and it won't be the positioning of these in the body either, which some people have also said. The body is exact. What isn't exact are the tremolo units with this sort of variance. It's not much of a variance on this particular one, this Babicz full contact bridge. But on the ABM it was probably 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, it's further than I'd want to hack the guitar away. Oh, and one last thing. These threads here are exactly the same threads as the Fender ones, so they fit straight in. If you've already got the inserts in the body, like I requested from Warmoth, well then these will fit straight in, so there's nothing there either. It's all pretty much, well, correct. Now on my unit we won't be installing these two because I already have them, as I've said, in the body. But it's not rocket science to put them in. Literally, your body should be drilled. If it's not drilled, well, you can request that gets drilled anyway before you get the body if it's a Warmoth one. And these just then press in until they're flush with the top of the body. Simple enough. Now this is the paperwork that the Tremolo comes with. I'm not really too worried about any of that. And on the back it does give you another bit of an indication about down this section. Those are different bridges. But anyway, we don't really need the paperwork for now. I just thought I'd show you that it does come with some. So what we're going to want for now are these two, these two, these four. There's only 4 springs. And that claw that sits in there as well. So that's everything we need right now, obviously, as well as the bridge. Okay, well here we are at the back of the guitar, which is where we're going to be doing some business. And you can see there's 2 holes in there, and those are for the 2 screws that we're going to be using in a minute or two. Now, if you buy a body that doesn't have the holes, well, that's approximately where they've got to go, and they have to go in as straight as possible. You don't want them down like that, else they'll come out the other side, probably. So in this case, they're already pre-done by Warmoth, which is a great advantage, really. So what we want to do is get these screws here screwed in. It's not rocket science, none of it is. And from what I can see, you want that sort of semi in place as you screw these in. Otherwise you get a bit of a problem later on. So we can sort of just screw them down, keep the bridge pushed towards the fulcrum points, and you won't really have much trouble. But of course, if you allow it to drop back in some ways at the wrong angles, this may not fit perfectly. So you can see at the front here that it's raised a little bit like this. You want to just bring that down until it's flush, if you can. That's about as low as I can go. Now what I always like to do is to take a little bit of this foam stuff and just put it underneath for now. And we can take that out and remove it and do other stuff later on. So I'm just going to flip the guitar over. Remember, if you've done all this stuff before, that's okay, there's no problem. You just got to think about other guys that have never fitted a tremolo. And when you're doing videos like this, unfortunately, sometimes that's exactly what I have to do, go thinking that, well, maybe you've never fitted a tremolo. And if you haven't, well, it could be a bit of a shock. So I'm running through the basics as we move forward. So there's the claw. You saw it in the packet. And that claw will fit in like so. Obviously at the right height. And you've got, a lot of guys will know this, you've got a little piece there that allows you to connect to ground. Now I always like to open that up a little bit actually, so you can actually get the wire in. Now when you want to screw these in here, it could be a good idea if you put some wax on the end of this. Any old candle wax will do. I don't think I'm really going to bother myself, but you can do that, and it sort of helps with the thread into the body. Makes a lot of difference actually. You want to get those screws as parallel as possible and as straight, perpendicular to the edge or the back of the guitar as you can. Now they can be difficult to tighten in there, so you just need to be a little bit careful when you do that. you're not in any race, you're not in any hurry. One of the most important things is you get the proper size screwdriver, because you're going to go just down there or over there, or these are going to snap off, or God knows what. Just be careful. Okay, just a quick point. These screws that they supplied here and the holes there are not really that compatible. So the screws themselves are like soft material. They're not made of something really robust. But secondly, the holes there are slightly small for that size screw. So I'm just going to drill them out slightly wider, and then we won't have any trouble fitting the stuff. And I'll probably change those screws for these far more robust ones. Well, okay, I'm back. You can see it's fitted. It's only got 3 springs on, because the springs appear to be very powerful springs compared to what I'm used to. Round the front, it looks as you'd expect. I've got this bit of stuff under here for now, just to protect the body and all the rest of it. However, I did say these screws could be tight, and sure they can. And what I wanted to do was to drill them out in the next size up, if you want the truth. Stop! As one man said recently. Well, if you decide you're going to drill these holes, like I did, just to make it a bit easier to get these darn things in and out, well, you've got to be very careful. You can see what's going to happen. Well, it's on the screen now, and I can tell you now, when that happens, you are going to have a job and a half in getting that broken drill out. Oh my God, you think you've had aggravation? No, you haven't. The bad news, first of all, is the picture that's on screen now. And there was the drill snapped off in the body, and I'm thinking I'm never going to get that out, ever. I cut away round the edge of the hole on this side and used a pair of tweezers, and I pushed them in and got a pair of pliers and turned it, and eventually the snapped off piece of drill came out, and it wasn't a little short piece, as you can see. I mean, we're talking if that wasn't coming out, that's major problem. In any case, it did come out, and I did resolve it, and as you can see, the screws still work fine. So that's the first part. It sits in there just loose for now, as exactly what you see. And what I need to do is to get on with the the tuners for the neck. So I'm going to move all this rubbish out the way. Now I've solved my broken drill bit, and get on with the neck. Well, after that little escapade, anything can happen, and it just shows you that this is being done in real time, and anything does happen. You've seen that drill, and oh my God, that could have been really aggravation. As it happens, I got away with it, but be careful. If you got a drill, just take your time. I don't know why it snapped. I probably went in too far and bent it a bit or something. It's what happens, isn't it? But I'm glad I've got past it. The body's just sitting over there, and now we're on the easier stuff. I say easier stuff because, well, it should be, but that doesn't mean it will be. It could be as much aggravation as what we've just had. Let's hope not. Here we are. I fitted this time a choice of standard non-locking Fender Tuners. These are the type that have 2 little locating holes, and these locating holes have to be drilled into the neck. Only about, I would say 3/16. I'd go 1/4 of an inch deep. But you've got to line them up, and if you don't line them up, well, you can have all sorts of higgledy-piggledy things going on. Which is something else. I haven't checked these in the holes. Now I've got a drill to do it with, but we need to do that. So what I'm going to do is get you down closer. Well, here we are. This is what I was talking about. You can see that there's two tiny little prongs there. Very common these days. And even if they were to fit in, which this one won't, but we'll get to that, you still have these little prongs sticking up. And yeah, it's something you need to solve. Now I've got a little kit. This is called the multi-tuner pin drilling jig. And it's from Tech Guitar Works, who knows where. That's no, I've got no email address or no website, but it's made by G-Tech multi-tuner pin drilling jig. And I guess if you go and have a look on the internet, you'll find thousands of these. Well, these do look as if they're going to require a little bit of work just to get them in there. They don't quite do it. Now it could be bits of material around the edge, but to be honest, it looks to me like those are drilled slightly wrong for these. Yes, it's one of these things. Very strange looking thing. This one's it says here UK 1332. Okay, well I reamed out the first one and you can see it fits in there. I've got to go and do the other 5. I'll go and do that and then we can get on with showing you how we drill those 2 little holes. They've all been reamed out now and yeah, it fits. They all fit, so they're all going to be okay. They are. Not too worried about them. But the trick now is to take this thing and make these fit. Now if you've got one of these, it's not too hard. Oh, you haven't got one? Well, let me show you firstly how you would do it. Take a piece of tape and stuff it right down this edge, exactly on that edge, like so. And what you do is you make a hole for each one. You can see where they've got to go. And you take your first one, you push it through. Obviously you've got to cut that out. Let's imagine we did. Tell you what. Oh my God, that's lifted. Ha! I'll have to be coming back to that. Oh, that's terrible. Stop! Well, what you just saw was the back of the neck with my infamous serial number now gone. What happened was the final coats, I put down some tape, you saw it, and I came to lift the tape off and off came the finish. Why? Well, it can only be really a question of the adhesion of the top coat to the to the second coat, which was that Rustins stuff, you know. Well, I ended up having to redo that again, so I've redone it now. It's pretty much as it was, except that I don't think it's going to lift this time. So what we'll do is we'll get back to covering the fitting of these as I intended, and let's hope it doesn't do it again. And anybody that gets anything like that, it's probably because you didn't get that bottom coat quite right, so that it keyed in to the top coat, and that's always important. But there you go, I'll learn just as you probably will if it happens to you. Well, here we are back on the case, and this time with a bit of luck we're going to be able to get this darn thing done, fitting these very nice tuners. So this is a kit for drilling the holes, and you put that on there, it fits in, you line everything up with one of these at the other end, so to speak. I'll be showing you in a minute, and away you go. I'm not going to stick this tape on because I don't want to tempt Providence, but if you don't do that, if you haven't got one of those things, the G-Tech, what you do, put some tape across, line them up, just press them in, and you'll see 2 little indentations, and drill each one out and away you go. It's that easy, but by doing it this way you get a little bit better job. So one of the very few things you'll need is a straight edge. So if we put that one in there and we line this one up here, this thing fits sort of underneath. You don't have to over tighten this or anything stupid, but it just screws on. I don't really want to mark anything, so it's just loose, turnable. And you sort of get this one lined up as well. So what you do, get them both so that they're absolutely lined up. Can't really get it wrong. Okay, and then what you do is just tighten this one a little bit more, like so. And you'll notice on this something I've not shown before, but there are 3 holes that are nearer to the screw and 3 that are further away. You want the ones that are further away, the 2 outside ones, and use this special drill to drill that and drill that, and then reverse it, put one on that end, and away you go with the rest. I'm going to go and get on with that now. I'll probably show you how to do the first one. Okay, well there's the bit in the drill, and all you do basically just drill it like so. That wasn't too bad, was it? And there are 2 little holes that you need, and then you can take the first one and slide it right in. Bit of a press, it'll pull in, don't worry. Okay, well there they are. Now you'll be saying to me, we've got 2 long ones and 4 short ones. Well, that's the way they came out. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. You normally have 3 long ones and 3 short ones, but I'm not too bothered. It looks pretty cool to me, and that's how it should look to you on yours. Okay, well that's been another little fun part. I don't know. I was sure you had 3 long ones and 3 short ones, but maybe they've changed things, or not. In either case, that's the way it is on there, and that's probably the way it's going to stay. Yeah, but they do look nice, and the gold looks really nice on green, I always thought. Well, thankfully, there's not much left in this particular section. This little bit's been a bit of a nightmare. I had trouble with them. I had trouble with the tremolo, or at least the mount, and you know, the rest of it. And there's only one thing left, and that is to fit the neck plate. Now when I ordered my body, I ordered a set of these screws. There's 2 long ones and 2 short ones on my guitar, and the reason is that you'll see, if you look carefully down there, that it's got a taper in. Okay, well here's the neck plate I chose, and this comes from a company called customguitarneckplate.com. I think his name Andrew Gurney. He's in Canada, that I do know. And yeah, it's a very nice looking plate. Now the thing is, before some people jump up and say, hey Tony, you can't have a plate like that on there, because I'm sure some will. Well, the truth is that this plate is not the same as a Fender one. The V's a different V, it's different text, which this guy actually designed himself, and it's a nice thick neck plate in gold, which I think will suit it down to a T. So it's a question now of moving on to get that neck over there, it's over there, into this hole here without damaging anything, because the fact is you can so easily damage things, so easily fitting this. You've just got to get things right. One more thing you need is a really good screwdriver for these for these ends. And if you use a junky screwdriver, you're going to be rounding them off and all sorts of things. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you got the right tools for the right job, and it'll all be good. Okay, well, here we go. I don't want to be on it all night, do I? Do I? Take your neck and put it at the end there. Don't sort of just slide it in, because you're not supposed to do that. Put it at the end and push down very, very carefully. And you'll find on one of these, if it's a Warmoth body, it will just fit straight in, as this one has. And look, it's strong enough to actually stay in place, even without the screws. Okay, there are the screws in place just before I start screwing them in. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could put some wax on there or something like that that's going to help them to go in. Or not, if you don't want to, but always make sure you've got a screwdriver that's a really good job for this neck joint, because you do want it in there so that it's really good. So I'm just going to screw these in now, and I'll be back in a moment. And there's the neck screwed in, all nice and tight, raring to go. Well, it's been a long, hard road, hasn't it? Well, as for me, yours might have gone easier, but I have to say, some of this stuff has been a little bit harder than it should be. But there it is. It's all fitted. It all looks pretty cool to me. Got it this way round, and you should be able to see that the neck and the body match pretty well. Yeah, which is the name of the game. The electronics are interesting on this guitar because they're a little bit different than all the others I've done. So we can look forward to, in section 11, all the electronics. Yeah, I can't wait. So I'll see you on the next video. Yeah, not much more I can say really. Yeah, it's all been good. At least I think it is. You think it is, don't you? Yeah? Is it worth the effort? Put down there in the comments.